Rwanda must end its support to M23. It must also withdraw Rwandan forces from Congolese territory and immediately remove any and all of its surface-to-air missile systems, which credible reporting indicates have been responsible for intentionally firing on the aerial assets of MONUSCO.
So you've heard that statement from that video, and basically the man who's speaking is called Robert Wood. He's the deputy permanent representative to the UN from the United States, and he was speaking at the UN Security Council meeting where they condemned Rwanda for sending troops to Congo and calling these troops, or these Rwandan troops, M23. They know that. They've stopped pretending. They know that what we call M23 and what the international media keeps talking about as rebels are actually Rwandan troops. So the lies have started reducing, and that is thanks to people like me who keep saying that on YouTube. And we try to do it in English because that is the language that a lot of people in the world at least could understand. And we have been successful, as you can see. At least they can hear part of what we are saying, even read the comment. The good thing is a lot of you, and I want to thank you, you come to the comment section below and you comment in English, and they watch the videos, listen to what I'm saying, and even read your comments. If they read 1,000 comments from 1,000 of you, they really now believe what is happening, because in the comments they can tell that people are not happy. So thank you for that. So from that meeting and from that clip is that the UN Security Council issued sanctions on the rebels in Congo violence. So the Committee of the United Nations Security Council has imposed arms embargo. You know what is an arms embargo? Is stopping you from buying arms. I mean, before we even continue talking, why would a rebel group be allowed to buy arms? You understand? Imposing them arms on them, or rather imposing arms embargo on a rebel group, is just absurd, because a rebel group has no right to even acquire these guns, right? So they have imposed that embargo on those rebels. They have also imposed travel ban. This means their visas cannot be approved. They have also requested asset freeze for these leaders of these Rwandan-backed quasi-proxy rebel groups, right? And of course, by saying this, we have to also ask ourselves, where are these assets that they own? As I said in a previous video, they own real estate in Kenya. They own real estate in Kigali. They own real estate in Uganda, Kampala, you know. And to those who do not know what I mean is, they own land, farmland, ranches, and apartment buildings. They are renting. They have tenants in Kampala. So they own buildings where people are paying rent to them, of course, through proxy companies in Kampala. They have apartments in Kitengela, Kenya. I know that Bisimwa had 2 apartments somewhere in Kitengela in Kenya. Someone showed me, someone who knows him very well. So they own these kind of homes in East Africa. That's how they get money, so that if things get tough for them, their families can continue living well in East Africa. They can travel. Their families can travel all over the world. So we need to know who are their wives, who are their children, and cancel their visas. Now, unfortunately, their children study away from Congo. Definitely, you find their children studying in international schools in Kenya. Others study in Canada for, higher education. Others study in other countries like Australia. They use Rwandan passports, so they go there as Rwandans. But we know them, and these international organizations like the UN can find out who they are, and then we need to sanction their sons, their daughters from enjoying good lives, living large in those countries, while their fathers are creating havoc in Congo, killing the dreams of many Congolese people. So we need to find out. Now, the other thing is, we need to also sanction countries that would want to work with them. For example, Rwanda is going to violate this arms embargo. What is going to happen to Rwanda? Because they are supplying ammunition and guns to these rebels. You are sanctioning the rebels. Why don't you sanction the source of those guns? They need to sanction Rwanda. They need to stop playing around the bush. That's what the English say. You move around the bush instead of chopping it down or getting inside the bush. If you want to do that, don't move around the bush. Like it's called beat about around the bush. Don't beat about the bush, right? So just impose an arms embargo on Rwanda. And if there are government officers in Rwanda working with these rebels, who we know, like James Kabarebe was working with them, we know the commander of the Rwandan Defense Force is also issuing commands to these Rwandan troops to go to Congo. We want a travel ban on the family members and the general in Rwanda, the chief of defense, or chief of staff, sorry. And we also need to track their asset, because they have not only invested in Rwanda because they don't trust Paul Kagame. We know people like James Kabarebe, they have invested outside Rwanda and particularly in Uganda. Let's find their assets. Let's freeze them. Now, if Uganda doesn't comply, let's sanction Uganda, because they are allowing these weapons to go through their territory as they head to Ruchuru. We've proven that. So in that statement, he's even mentioning that Rwanda has the surface-to-air missile in Congo. I remember when I made that video about the surface-to-air missile about a week ago, a lot of people came to the comment section saying that I'm a propagandist. You know, they're saying that my videos are propaganda, basically, because they couldn't believe it. So now, to end this video, I want to tell you the leaders that were given these sanctions. One of the leader is the leader of the ADF. This is a Ugandan rebel groups that I suspect was created by the Ugandan government to have an excuse of going to Congo. The other one is the group in South Kivu, south of Uvira. Sometimes they are found in Mwega, right? And they were the ones massacring the Bembe people in Minembwe. You remember Minembwe last year? So the group is called Twirwaneho na Ngomino. They call themselves, sometimes they call themselves Ngomino, other times they call themselves the Twirwaneho armed group. They are led by a guy called Makanika. He's a Kano. He was a Kano. He goes by the name Makanika. I don't know why. And he's known. And he gets these guns from Rwanda. And on top of that, he gets money. A lot of money that was captured the other time by the FBI, coming from Canada, coming from Australia, after being, raised by by these Wanyamrenge people who are living in those countries. They went there because they said they were refugees, and they were relocated there as refugees. And once they got there, they started looking for jobs. They work and they put money together. They send it back to Twirwaneho with the hope that this group is going to remove the Bembe people who have been living in that part of Congo for more than 2,000 years. That now, so that these Rwandan Tutsi can come and live in Uvira. They can come and live in Minembwe, which is very far south near Katanga. So they can come and live in Mwenga. So that is the deal. But what I'm trying to say is, those people who are sending the money to these Twirwaneho people can easily be tracked, because they're using PayPal, they're using Western Union, they're using the electronic money transfer that is controlled by the US. The US can easily find out who are doing that, revoke their refugee status and asylum seeking status in Canada, Australia, and the US, put them on a bus and ship them back to Rwanda or wherever they came from. They need to do that. They need to stop joking around and telling us things that are just useless. So the US also added to the UN list were the military spokesperson for the M23, which is the Tutsi-led rebels. These are the Rwandan troops in Congo. and a leader with the Democratic Forces of Liberation of Rwanda. Now, they usually try to make Rwanda feel good. One thing I told you in a previous video, FDLR is not there. It doesn't exist. And the reason why it doesn't exist is because there's no need for them to exist. You see, why would FDLR exist? That's the first question. You see, Paul Kagame wants to tell you that FDLR is there to organize themselves, arm themselves, and go to Rwanda to remove him from power, and then take over the country, which is Rwanda, and rule it. Who would want to leave Congo and go to live in Rwanda? Rwanda has a population of 15 million people, and it is tiny. They have the highest population density in Africa. The highest. They even have the highest population density than Bangladesh. You know, Bangladesh is a tiny country next to India with a population of 330 million people. Rwanda has a higher density than even those people in Bangladesh. So it is crowded. You can't even find a space to put up a house in Rwanda today. That's why a lot of Rwandans are leaving Rwanda, and others are trying to go to Congo to grab their land, pretending that they were born there. You understand? So if these Hutus who left Rwanda in 1994 went to Congo and found free land and found good land, why would they want to come back to Rwanda? So they start saying, okay, you know, their children still have the same ideology. Let me tell you something. According to the Democratic Republic of Congo's constitution, any child who is born inside Congo, and it's not easy to find their parents, like their parents don't have the documents to prove where they are from. They are called stateless. They don't have a country. Those children automatically become Congolese. So the Hutus who went to Congo, who I assume lost their document or they didn't even want to be called Rwandans, they became stateless in Congo. And the children they bore or they gave birth to in Congo automatically became Congolese. So now, if you are a child of a former Hutu and you are in Congo and today you are a Congolese, and there's enough land for you to build a house, there's enough land for you to do farming, your father and your grandfather were farmers, and Congo is not telling you not to do farming, why would you want to go back to Rwanda to fight for a smaller space to farm? That's bullshit. So there's no one in Congo who is a Hutu who would want to go to Rwanda. Even if Paul Kagame asked them to go and hand power to them, they will still not go to Rwanda. Because there's nothing to go to Rwanda to. Forget about the videos he keeps showing us about how clean Kigali is. No one cares about a clean street. People care about food and you know, freedom to do whatever they want to do. And in Rwanda, there is no freedom to do what you want to do. And in Rwanda, people are starving. So no one would want to go to Rwanda from Congo. That's a fact. So never take him seriously when he's saying that there's a group called FDLR that is training people to come to Rwanda. No one wants to go to Rwanda. Paul Kagame, this is a message to you. No one is interested in coming to that shithole of a country. Even the people in Rwanda today want to leave. Paul Kagame has come up with this tactic where the Hutus are mostly denied passports. It's a fact. And even when they are given passports, you know, nowadays we have the digital passports in East Africa, they are cancelled. And I'm saying this because a week ago I was in Nairobi. That's where I live. I went to this airport in Nairobi called Jomo Kenyatta. I found a group of about 10 Rwandans. And they said they had left Rwanda, paid and sold everything in Rwanda. They came to the JKIA so that they can take a plane to Turkey, you know, Turkey. And then from Turkey, there was a ticket they had bought for a plane to take them to Ecuador. Ecuador is a country in Southern America that doesn't require people to have a visa on arrival. You can just fly from anywhere in the world and land into Ecuador. So they told me they were supposed to fly to Ecuador, and then from Ecuador they were supposed to walk through the jungles. They had an agent That's what they were calling him, but I know it's a human trafficker in Southern America who was supposed to facilitate them to move all the way to the United States border so that they can cross the border, because they have seen on TikTok a lot of people are being allowed into the US. So what happened to them? Rwanda found out and it cancelled their passports. So when they went to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Kenya, after flying from Rwanda using Rwanda Air, that's what they said, their passport was being rejected in the system. So when the passport was entered in the immigration system in Kenya, there was a certain notification that this person should not be allowed to travel. You understand? And these are people who are not traveling outside Rwanda to go and do negative things. They just want to go and have a good life in the US. But now the Rwandan government is cancelling passports of the people they have issued to, and it is denying passport to other people they don't like. And it's a fact that a lot of people have always wanted to leave Rwanda. It is the North Korea of Africa. People want to leave Rwanda. No one, apart from few tourists who are duped by the fake image on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, most sane people want to leave Rwanda. And now here he's telling us that FDLR is interested in coming to Rwanda. No one is interested in going there.